Harry.
Good morning.
Just start us off with the injury and sickness latest.
Not sure yet. I've not had a chance to speak really with the doctor this morning. Just waiting to see how Ryan Nelson is really. He went down with a virus, so he wasn't fit for the West Brom game.
Still feeling the effects of that badly, is it?
Well, I'm hoping he's going to be okay. You know, if anyone can play with a illness or injury, Ryan's one of them boys. But we'll just have to see how he's recovered.
In the position you're in, you really need everything to go for you, and the other day, things out of your hands kind of went against you, didn't they?
Yeah, that's how it goes. I felt there was a couple of decisions that didn't go our way, especially when the penalty was a blatant penalty. You jump with your hands above your head. It's got to be a penalty. Why do you jump with your hands up there? But it's history now. It's done and done with. Nothing we can do. You move on.
Obviously, when you're around at Spurs, things changed around pretty dramatically in a very short space of time. Is it frustrating that they haven't happened as quickly?
No, I didn't expect it to happen quickly. You're talking about two different football clubs, two different. Our Spurs were ever in that position in the first place, I'll never know. I mean, it was a long way to go. It was only 8 games gone, and they had a fantastic squad. So it was different. Yeah, we'd gone 13 games without a win, so it was always going to be much harder. There's no one's got a magic wand. No one's going to walk into it. I don't care who you are. I've said it a million times in the past. People say, oh, well, you know, you go to clubs and you change players around. And I've always said, if you look back, I've always said, well, you have to change the players because, no one can walk in and suddenly wave a magic wand and get them winning games. And when they've not been winning, it's not going to happen. I knew that it was going to be difficult. And that's exactly as it's been no more difficult than I expected. It's been exactly as I expected it to be, very difficult. But we're still in there. The transfer windows come in. If we can get 1 or 2 in, we give ourselves a chance still. So that's really where I'm looking at.
Is there a specific number that you've got in mind and specific positions?
Not really. No, I've got positions, but I haven't got actual numbers. I mean, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't just bring them in. If I can't bring people in that I think can do the job for us, then I won't bother. I wouldn't do it. It's no point in just bringing players in just for the sake of it again. You know, I've got to get people in the right positions who I think can help us. And if I can't get those people, then we might as well sit tight, and see what happens.
Do you think that's been the problem at this club in the recent past, that players have just been brought in for the sake of it?
No, it wouldn't be fair for me to say that. I mean, as I said before, you take chances when you're not paying big money. You take chances in the transfer market because unless you're going to buy top draw players, you're always taking gambles, and things didn't go right. I mean, they lost a couple of 2 forwards with injuries that were important, Johnson and Bobby Zamora. If they'd have stayed fit, that would have been a different, big plus as well. They lost those 2 with injuries, so that was a problem. So there's certain, circumstances or whatever. That's how it goes.
You don't have a specific number to bring in? Do you have a specific number to get rid of?
Not really, no. At the moment, I can't be looking to get rid of anybody. If you look at my bench the other day, I pulled a young kid in who was on the bench, who's been out on loan in Yeovil and a few different clubs, and he had to be on the bench for me. So we're certainly not we're not overloaded here. No, you got quite a few. You got some long-term. At your 25, you got long-term injuries. So it's not. I can't just suddenly be getting people out of here without getting replacements in. No, I'm not looking to shift people out quickly unless I get people in.
Because one name in particular is obviously Jose Basingo. People saying as he played his last game for the club.
Again, we'll have to look at that and see how we go in January. I think really with it,
One name possibly coming in. It's been speculated as Breda Hangeland. Is there any truth in that?
Oh, but he'd be pleased to hear that Martin Yole this morning. I don't know where that's come from.
No truth in that whatsoever.
Well, it's the first I've heard of it,
Yeah.
First I've heard of that one. Good player, but if I was interested, I'd ring Martin or they'd ring the chairman at Fulham. I've never made any approach at all for. He's a top player at Fulham. I wouldn't think he'd be available.
Liverpool, a club in a similar position to yourself, not at the the bottom of the
I
league.
don't
but-
think so. You
but
sure?
in a not particularly,
Yeah.
not a particularly great run of form at the moment.
I don't know. I mean, they've had some good wins, and you know, they've had some big results. They've got good, fantastic players. You know, I look at them. You've got people like Suarez, Gerrard, Johnson. Yeah, they've got some quality, haven't they?
They're not
So-
the force they once were, really, are they?
Well, it's take time. They're rebuilding and changing things around, and you know, Brendan's bringing different people in now. He looks like he might get Sturridge, and he's looking to build a new team. They've spent good money in the last few years. Carroll was massive money. You know, Joe Allen, people like that brought players in, so they're rebuilding. They'll get back there, but they're a dangerous side on their day. They can be a real threat to anybody.
It wasn't that long ago they were European champions and challenging for the Premier League.
Mm.
What has caused this decline in recent seasons?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't got time to really go too deeply into Liverpool's. You know, it's a great club, fantastic football club, Liverpool, and I'm sure that it's like it goes in cycles with that support and the passion there is up in for that team that it will come again.
Just a couple of other general issues to ask you.
Yeah.
The second goal for Newcastle on Boxing Day. Is the offside rule still as clear as mud after all these years?
Yeah, I think so. I think that the fans don't know what's going on. Most managers don't know what's going on. So it's very difficult, really. There's so many years ago you were offside, you was offside. Whether now it's second phase, was you interfering? Who got the last touch? It's so difficult for people to understand it. It would be easier if it was cleared up a little bit, I would think.
How would you go about clearing it up, amending the rule?
Well, again, that would take an awful long time to sit down with referees who know much more about it than I do. But I think that when you're in offside position, you've got to be interfering with play when you stood in front of goal. Suddenly, with the rules now, it's you're not interfering, and it's as I say, there's so many different aspects of the offside rule that it would take an awful long time to sit and go through it, really.
Sir Alex obviously wasn't best pleased. Mike Dean isn't going to be taking any action against Sir Alex. Is that a frustration for other managers that maybe are treated a little bit more harshly by the FA?
Not really. I'd be good luck to him if he doesn't get charged. It's good for Alex. I don't want to see anyone get charged. We all get frustrated. We all at the end of a game. It's very difficult. But I got frustrated the other day. But I didn't chase the referee onto the pitch or waited and went into his room half hour after the end of the game and just asked him how he come to those decisions. And then I did make a comment after, but only because the linesman said to me he couldn't see from where he was. It was murky in that corner. I don't know where it was murky. He said he couldn't see because he said you want to go down that corner and have a look for yourself. It's very difficult to see from there, which I found difficult to understand.
One other general issue to ask you about, I don't know if this is a story you've heard of, but Sunderland banned 38 fans for constantly standing up during a match. You obviously remember football from the days when it was fine to stand up during a match. Would you support fans' right to stand up?
Well, it's very difficult. When you go to a football ground and you buy a seat and you want to sit down and watch the game, and you're sitting there, and every time the ball goes up that end, everyone in front of you stands up. So you have to stand up. Then you all sit down, then the ball gets moved again, and I've been to games and stood there, and it's been the biggest nightmare I've ever had, where you spend the whole game having to keep jumping up. If everybody sat down, we could all see. If everybody stands up, I'm sure it'll be different again. You either sit down or you stand up. I don't think you can be sitting down and keep standing up. It's because the people behind you, they can't see, they can see nothing. They've got to keep jumping up and down all day. And if you've got kids with you, they can't see nothing at all. Because the people in front that stand up are 6 foot tall, and you've got kids who you paid a ticket to watch the game, they've got no chance of seeing what's happened. So I think if we're having seat at stadiums, we have to sit down, unless we change the rules, unless we bring back standing areas.
Which you would be for or against?
Well, again, it would be. There's lots of. It's a long argument again, wouldn't it? It'd be a long discussion. There's so many people that have different views on it. People have been affected by it much deeper than I would ever have. So it's something that will take a lot of discussing.
Just very finally from me, something
Yeah.
I'm asking all managers, any New Year's resolution?
New Year resolutions. I can't really think of too many, you know. Not to get so upset when we lose, perhaps, or so down. But I've been saying that for about 40 years now, and it hasn't made any difference, so I'll probably waste the time with that one.
Good man. Cheers, Harry.
Any other broadcast? Okay, turn your cameras off now and just take your mics off the top.